Hi, I want to talk to you about how we can use data as a catalyst for social change. My group in the Young Leaders team, we've been really trying to look at this and trying to get to the bottom of it. But before I do, we've all heard about the benefits of big data, and what I would like to do is paint you a picture of the future. A future on this beach with this little boy who has a pretty healthy lifestyle. He suffers from less chance of getting cancer than anybody else in this room. He suffers from less chance of getting diabetes than anybody else in this room. And that's because in this version of the future, we've taken 25 years of shopping data from 1 million people and combined it with their health records to determine trends in lifestyle and dietary choices which would predict cancer or predict diabetes and allow him and his parents to choose an alternative lifestyle, to work around it. This little boy gets to spend more time with his parents than anybody else here gets to spend with their children. That's because his parents spend less time in traffic every day. They have a fantastic little app on their phone which gives them a forecast of the traffic, so they spend less time commuting. And my team looked at this vision of the future and decided to try to make it. What would it take to make this traffic application? How would we do it? Well, there's been great open data initiatives, and traffic information, as we've heard, is already available, and that's great. We can get that. What we can't get hold of, what we struggled to get hold of, was data about energy consumption. What we wanted to do in the traffic application was use energy consumption as a predictor of road traffic. When we get up in the morning, we all make a cup of tea, turn the kettle on, have a shower. Energy consumption rises. This rise in consumption will happen probably half an hour to an hour before we all leave the house to head for work. So we have a window when we can predict what the roadside traffic is going to be like. So how do we get hold of this energy data? What we realized was the data exists, and the energy marketplace is awash with it. With the rollout of smart meters, there's going to be more data in the energy marketplace than there ever has been before. We just need to get hold of it. The problem we found was, while it exists, it's in a bit of a jail. There are initiatives in the US called Green Button, and in the UK called My Data, which encourage the individual user to get hold of their data. So they can download their data from the energy supply companies and they have it. And that encourages us as an entrepreneur to go after these individuals. But that's an awful lot of chasing for an awful lot of people and an awful lot of cost. Take London as an example. If we wanted to roll out this app in London, we need to ask somewhere in the region of 3 million households. As an entrepreneur, I've got a lot of ideas and not a lot of cash. It's very difficult to do. How do I get it done? Why can't we just ask the companies that own this data today, the energy supply companies, the distribution systems operators, the guys who deliver the power to your house? Why can't we ask them for the data? And when we went to look into this, we found out that while the data is there, getting hold of it isn't easy. Companies are worried about this exposure of data because it destroys some of their competitive advantage. We've got this data. Why would we want you to know who our biggest electricity customers are? You could poach them. We don't want that. They are also concerned about privacy. When they capture this data from the end user, there's an agreement in place that they will only use it for billing purposes, and it's locked up in this privacy vault, and we can't get access to it, which is unusual and unfortunate. But what if we were to invert the question? As an entrepreneur, and I'm looking at this for traffic prediction, seeing a single individual user's data is pretty much useless. It's like looking at a grain of sand when what I want to see is the beach. What I actually want to get is 1 million data sets, and that's expensive. I can't host it. I have lots of ideas and just no cash. And while cloud computing is making things cheaper, making computing cheaper, big data is by definition big, and I'm going to need lots of it, and it's not free. So what if I didn't get the data? What if I asked the data owning companies in the energy marketplace to analyze it on my behalf and give me the statistical results. I'll never see the data. The data stays in place in the energy marketplace, and all I get is the answer. Now, we can build a software ecosystem or a software framework that will allow us entrepreneurs to write these algorithms, to submit them, to have them executed, and to have them vetted. So there's no privacy data exposed. There's no chance of releasing competitive information. We get the statistical averages, which is what we want. We don't want the individual data. If we did that, we get the chance to free data, to liberate it, to make it available. Data itself safe, stays locked behind the bar, behind this little boy, but the value gets exposed. We get the value of the data, the statistical value of the data, while maintaining data privacy. Wouldn't that be great? Now, if we did this, not just across the energy marketplace, but across a bunch of different industries, we could connect data producers with application developers and researchers. This would allow great ideas to come forth, because the real value in big data, the key to delivering this future, is about lowering the barrier for entry for entrepreneurs into the big data. And doing this will enable us to have a much better future. We will allow entrepreneurs to try out data, try out their ideas, fail quickly or succeed big time. And it will bring forth a bunch of ideas, more than you'll probably hear in the room today, and really change Europe and help us all live on that beach in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris.